Hi everyone, this is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. This is my review of the iFi ZEN Air CAN. This is part of their £99 range of devices. I've already reviewed the ZEN Air DAC and the ZEN Air Blue, so check those reviews out. But here we are with the ZEN Air CAN, the one I really wanted to test to see how good this ZEN Air CAN is versus the more expensive ZEN CAN. First of all, I'm going to show you what you get in the box. You get the device itself and you get the cable. The cable here is for power. You don't get actual power brick. That's 5 volt in. That's a USB-A. You need to provide the other part of this that plugs into, that provides us with enough power. And the power is quite important, but that's one of the cost saving things that makes this £99. Some of the other cost saving versus the ZEN CAN, this is plastic, it's not metal, but this dark grey looks quite nice. And one of the things that I mentioned to you was the power output is slightly reduced. This still puts 1200 milliwatts into a 32 ohm headphone. That reduces to 660 into a 64 ohm, and if you have a pair of 600 ohm headphones, and there aren't many of those about nowadays, but this will drop to 75 milliwatt. There's still a lot of power, and have the 0, 9 and 18 dB options in terms of improving gain. You can drive most headphones. Now with my iFi Arias, I found that it was fine at 9 dB. I didn't need to push it all the way to 18. And the iFi Arias planar magnetic does require a bit of push. In terms of connections, you'll notice that this has 3.5 and it's a 6.3 connection. So let's go close up. So here, this is the power on off. Here you have the input button and you can select between input 1, input 2 and input 3. You have the gain where it clicks and it toggles between 3, 0, 9 and 18, volume control, and 6.3, 3.5 using their sort of S-balance circuitry, but it's not 100% pure balanced, obviously, at this price point. And you've also got X bass, one press, X bass, and then if you press it again, you have X bass and X bass on, and one more press will turn off. On the rear, you have two RCA inputs, input 2, input 3. That's where that power cable went in, but notice no power brick itself is included, and you also have a 3.5 input as well. So that's that. So first is the ZEN Air CAN, as I said, plastic, not as much power, and also it's not a full balanced circuitry. The more expensive ZEN CAN does have a 4.4mm balanced input. However, sound quality is what matters. So these were all the tracks again that I used. And as I said, I have reviewed the ZEN DAC itself, and I'll put a link at the end of the video so you can watch that as well. But I've got to say, the first thing I thought, well, this is cheap. It cannot sound as good as the ZEN CAN, but how good does, what is that deficit? Well, the first thing, powering on my headphones, and I use the whole range from Sennheiser HG600s, some cheaper 599s, some FIO IEMs, some Shure 1540s. Mentioned the iFi Arias stealth magnets. I also had the Beyerdynamics, you've probably seen them over there actually, the DT700 Pro X, they're the new closebacks. But I thought it would just be interesting to have a listen to this and see, and how good does this sound? And the first thing is powering on, plugging the headphones in, even though they're not in their balanced cables, they're just using the standard cables. And to be honest, a lot of people do not have balanced connections. Honestly, and at this price point, I'd be very surprised if people did have balanced cable connections out of the box. So the first thing is it's got that beautiful iFi sound. Straight out, absolutely fantastic. So I was able to pick out good details in the music that I was playing. The soundstage was relatively pretty good as well, quite large. You could sense all the different instruments, had reasonable depth, height and space. The mids and the treble were really nice. Probably one of the highlights being some of the mids. And again, if I wanted more bass, and I tried the X bass. Personally, X bass isn't for me, but it works really well on some headphones, like even some of the closed back headphones, just making them a bit broader in their presentation. This absolutely shines. I was really, really surprised. I mean, it's still using the same circuitry style from the more expensive ZEN CAN. It's still running sort of in the Class A layout. And I was just quite surprised. The other thing, having such a simple RCA to RCA inputs, if you had the ZEN Air Blue, the ZEN Air DAC, and probably I know there's a ZEN Air Phono coming as well, you can connect two of them in here. So with my little setup, which when this goes back over there, I plug in the ZEN Air Blue and the ZEN Air DAC. Now that gives me the option of doing wired or wireless, and it depends on the source that I'm using to drive these as to whether I want to use Bluetooth or not. But this really powers so many headphones I've got really, really well. And honestly, £99. I couldn't give a monkeys about use of plastics, because once it's on a shelf, you don't know. You're not going to go there, oh, let me just tap it to see what it is. And it doesn't matter. It really does not matter. And I think at this price point, they've achieved an awful lot. You might have some specific questions. I'll happily answer them. This is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. Take care, guys. Bye for now.